are listening to Fiction Faeries, two authors chasing joy and creativity. I'm author Amanda Torrey.
And I'm author Christine DePetrillo. Welcome to our podcast where we amplify joy, whimsy, and the magic of the written word. We also have today's special guest, author Dorothy Callahan, with us. And she is ready to talk about her latest release in a brand new series. So welcome, Dorothy. So
Welcome,
happy to have
Dorothy.
you.
Thank you for having me. It's so nice to be here and see your happy faces.
We're so excited to have you today. So excited. Can't wait to hear all the things that, all the answers
All
to
of
the
them.
things we're going to ask you.
Yes.
Okay.
So before we dive into all the mysterious things about Dorothy Callahan, we one of the things we like to do here on Fiction Fairies is to share what's in our chalice. So that's just what we're drinking today. So today I am a disaster. So I am drinking just my water, but it is actually fresh dew from the fairies flowers. I just whisked it off the petals into my mug. So I'm drinking fairy dew. Sounds wrong. But anyway, yes.
It's perfect. You're basically a plant and you need hydration. It's fine.
Yeah,
I mean, it makes sense.
It makes sense. Yeah. So Dorothy, how about you? What's in your chalice today?
In my beautiful butterfly mug,
Love it.
I have liquid straight from a waterfall of joy. Okay, it's water.
Joy. Please give us the map to this place.
Because otherwise I'll sound like a frog. So I need to stay well hydrated.
It could be on theme, however.
It could be.
Could be. I like it. I have today my mug that just has my name all over it because I'm just trying to be my own cheerleader today.
Yes.
Christine, go Christine.
Why are we cheering for Christine today?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we'll find out later.
Okay.
I don't know.
We're being mysterious.
So, in here, I have chamomile lavender tea because I just want to relax and enjoy today's episode.
Oh, I love it.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yes.
This is good.
Our main goal with this podcast is to meet authors, which we have one today, yay, and other creative people, go behind the scenes into the creative process, build a whimsical and weird community, highlight the power of play, and find joy in creativity. So, without further ado, let's get to the joy. Amanda, how did you invite joy into your life since our last episode?
Okay, well, I've had a lot of joy, but the most recent joy was just like an hour ago. I was driving to pick up some food and my playlist, a playlist came on. It's not actually my playlist. It's a playlist somebody else curated, but it's like Taylor Swift, but you're mad. And so it's just all mad Taylor Swift songs and like that. And it's, I just love, I wasn't mad, but mad songs are just fun to sing anyway. There's just like power and passion in it. So it's a beautiful day here. The windows were down. I was just like car dancing. My arm is doing the thing out the window and I'm just bebopping and scream singing. And it was old. It was like original Taylor Swift, like from, way back when. And so it was just that was like when she was at her most dramatic. And I just love it because it's so relatable. So I was but the thing about this particular joy is that you're on the road with a bunch of people who are just not really feeling joyful. And so as you pass them, making meaningful eye contact with the cars is really fun because they're just like, what? And you're like, hey, and you just keep on singing and dancing. And, sometimes you get a little smile from them. So I'm like, we're spreading joy through the sheer act of ridiculousness. So
love it.
That is my joy today. And how about you, Dorothy? Put you on the spot here on Fiction Fairies. What joy have you experienced recently?
Being able to wear shorts this week has been amazing.
You wore shorts?
And then it snowed.
Oh,
yeah,
well,
but then it snowed 2 days later. But
I
did get most of my... I know, but it's still April. I have to keep reminding myself. But I did get most of my garden set up. I
Nice.
have lots and lots and lots of grow bags because our ground is awful. But I got almost everything. Actually, I did get every single pot filled this
Wow.
week. So
It's
now I have
amazing.
to decide what goes in every pot. But that was nice, and the weather's been great. And I got to take my dog out in
Aw.
shorts for walks. So yeah, it's been a really nice week.
That sounds joyful. I love
Yes.
it. What about you,
Nice.
Christine? What's your
Very
joy?
nice. Well, my joy, a two-part joy. First part, similar to yours, I was cleaning earlier this week and I happened upon a 90s dance pop
Oh
music
my
station.
gosh.
And I just had a ball vacuuming and cleaning to like these songs where, of course, I, can't remember why I walk into a room nowadays, but I knew every
Oh,
single
yeah,
lyric.
those come back. Yep.
And even like dances that I made up in the 90s to these songs were like coming back to me. So like that's
Whoa.
permanently ingrained in there. I guess that'll never leave, which is good because that's a good soundtrack to get
I
old to
mean,
that I can
listen,
remember
I'm
too.
making a note
So,
to make you record one of these dances to share with our joylings.
we're gonna delete that out of today's episode, joylings.
You could lead
All I
a
could think of
choreographed dance session, and we could all be
when you said you forget why you walk into a room. I'm like, you forget why you walk into a room, but by God, you could walk like an Egyptian.
That is right. That is so true. Nice.
Look at that.
Nice. Excellent. I love it. That is perfect. And my second joy is that when this episode is being recorded, I did release the 5th book in my Hartley series. So I showed the cover of this, I think, in another episode. So today I'm going to show the lovely stack.
Look at that stack.
Ooh,
Congratulations.
Like, just love the stack, right?
Gorgeous.
Oh, such joy.
It is a sexy stack over there.
All right, like I need to just fan myself off after looking at that stack. So anyway, so those are my joys.
We're rambunctious in our springtime session here.
Yes, we are.
Oh my goodness! Congratulations! Happy
Thank you.
That's
release
awesome.
day. And would you like to tell us a little bit about the book?
Well, it is a age gap forbidden, hot for teacher kind of small town contemporary romance, which I've never written age gap before. So this was fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Intriguing.
Yeah. And I will say that there's an owl involved in the meet cute. So there we go.
That was like, my little ad lib.
Your wonderful impression of an owl. Perfect.
Sometimes you can really tell I'm a preschool teacher.
What does the owl say?
What does the cow say?
Well, what does the fox say? Remember that? Oh my gosh. All right. Well, this is fantastic. So excited. New release. Beautiful weather. We have lots of joys, and joylings, let us know what has brought you joy this week. And now we can tiptoe into the meadow with author Dorothy Callahan. And we're so excited to have Dorothy join us today on the Fiction Faeries podcast because she is a fantastic author. Fantastic. We've been friends for a long time, and I'm just like, love her books, love her. Wonderful. I'm so excited for you guys to get to know her. And in addition to just her being her wonderful self, Christine and I have had the pleasure of collaborating with her on a brand new series. So today's episode is going to be all about our series and Dorothy's creative journey as well.
Yeah, that's right. So the series is called the Fumbled Fairy Tales series, and its official description is a collection of reimagined stories by authors who turn fairy tales on their heads to deliver stories that speak to the heart. Inside this series, you'll discover bold heroines and unforgettable characters who refuse to wait for rescue. So we get some feisty females here, folks.
Ooh, I like that.
Choosing instead to find their own way to a well-deserved happy ever after. So basically, we're bringing you alternative fairy tales where we've mixed and matched the heroes and heroines to give you all new adventures.
Oh my gosh. This whole concept was just so much fun, and wait till you hear these titles, okay? You ready? I'm going to share the titles. Okay, so Dorothy's book is already out. It released on the 14th 4/14, right? Yeah, I got that right.
Yep.
Dates are not always my friend, but yes. So all right, ready, guys? This is her mix and match. Bella and the Bullfrog. A Beauty Meets the Frog Prince Fractured Fairy Tale, which is out now already. You can go grab it, and the link will be in the show description. I can't even tell you guys, like, we're talking Beauty from Beauty and the Beast. So Belle, or in her case, it's Bella. And she gets knocked out of her world and into the world of the Frog Prince. And it's just unbelievable how Dorothy pulled this off. Like, it's really, truly unbelievable. Gotta read it. You just have no idea. It's like the most creative romance probably ever. So good. And then, so coming in May, on May 15th,
May 15th.
I was thinking today, is my book. It will be the second in the series of the Shared World, and mine is called Braids and the Beast. A Rapunzel Meets the Beast Fractured Fairy Tale. And the link to the pre-order will be available in the show description. And then that's not all.
But wait, there's more.
More. So we've got Bella and the Bullfrog. April, go grab it now. May, you've got my Braids and the Beast. And then in June 16th, we have Christine's book, which is Ruby and the Royal. Get this, guys. A Red Riding Hood meets Prince Charming Fractured Fairy Tale. Now, these are just the most fun. The most fun. The link to that.
I love the pairings.
Oh, it's like, this was just a breath of fresh air to write. It was just so much fun. We'll talk about that more later. But the link to all of the pre-orders and to Dorothy's book are all going to be in the show description, courtesy of Fiction Fairy Christine, the one who has her stuff together.
Right. Sometimes. So before we dive into the meadow with questions for Dorothy, let's get her bio first. Let's get to know her.
Yes.
So, like other romance authors, Dorothy likes the promise of a happy ever after. She likes knowing that all the strife and uncertainty that the hero and heroine have faced over the last 300 pages will result in a large sigh of contentment. Personally, there is nothing more frustrating to her than to finish a story with an ambiguous ending, never knowing if the main characters will be together, or for a standalone novel, if all those dangling threads will ever be tied. She also likes to toss her characters into, figuratively, shark-filled waters. This can mean danger comes from weapons, enemies, magic, magical beasts, or even something less hostile but equally dangerous, preconceptions, prejudices, and secrets. She started her writing career when she was 15 years old. Her first novel was a fantasy set in a magical realm. It had 10 main characters, and according to Dorothy, it was awful, but I have my doubts.
Yeah. I want proof.
I want proof of that too. 2 of her novels made it to Amazon's top 100. The first is A Decade for Darius, which was also a nominee for Best of the Best Reads of 2015.
Great book.
From Sweet and Sassy Bookaholics. Yes. The second is Crazy Little Fling, which I adore that title, by the way.
Yes.
To date, all of Dorothy's stories have adopted or rescued animals in them, and this is something she has been passionate about ever since she was a child. So,
love that.
Now it's time for the questions.
Dorothy, are you in the meadow? Have you made it through the weeds?
Stretch out, be ready.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Hard-hitting questions coming in this.
Yep, the wildflowers are just dancing. Yeah, there's a full breeze, and butterflies.
Oh, perfect. And since we did not go to school for journalism, who knows what you're in for? Okay, so let's dive in. Don't be afraid. It's happy here. Sorry, I don't know what is wrong with me. I think I probably say that on every episode. I'm still trying to figure it out. Anyway.
That's another t-shirt idea. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Someday I'll know. Anyway. Your latest release is, as we mentioned, Bella and the Bullfrog in Fumbled Fairy Tales series. Can you tell us about that book, please? Inquiring minds want to know.
So my friend Amanda and I were traveling on this long road trip.
Where were we?
I can't recall. Was it Ireland or Scotland at this
Scotland.
point? It
Scotland.
was Scotland. And there we are on these quiet little back roads, and Amanda and I were trying to figure out a fun way that we could collaborate on a story. And we must have spent an hour bouncing ideas back and forth. And then we came up with Fumbled Fairy Tales, and we're like,
That's the
yes,
one.
that's it. That was it. So yeah, we came up with the idea, and a half human child gets invited into the fairy tale realm, and she picks up the magical tome that has all of the fairy tales in it. And it was protected against everything magical except humans. And she shakes the fairy tale book up because she doesn't like how any of the stories are. Her word, she doesn't even believe, or she can't even believe that the heroes don't even have names. What kind of story has princes that don't even have names? Like, that's not even a story. It's not even a character. And she's so frustrated, and she shakes the whole book up, and the head librarian is flabbergasted. She's like, what have you done? So all the stories get mixed up, all the characters get flung hither and whither and topsy-turvy, and that's where we started our stories.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. And how about Bella and the Bullfrog? What goes on in there?
Let's see. Bella has to escape from the Beast Tower, and right as she's trying to figure out a way to get out, the book gets shaken, and she winds up in Rapunzel's tower for braids and the Beast. She manages to escape that, and she's very thirsty. She keeps traveling for a good couple miles, and she sees a pond, and she heads towards it thinking fresh water. And she gets there, and this frog comes hopping up to her, and he starts trying to like flick her with his tongue, and she's like, oh my gosh, there's this frog trying to attack me. And she scoots him into the water, and then he can speak, and he's like, don't drink it, the water's poisoned. So that's where our story starts.
Unbelievable. Oh my gosh.
Love it.
Guys, you gotta read it. It's so fantastic. Like, that's just the beginning. Just wait. So how did you get into writing romance? You said you started with it. Was there romance in the fantasy you wrote when you were 15?
Yes, it was. It was a young adult before young adult was a genre.
Okay.
But I would honestly say as a child, I read Piers Anthony religiously. Every single thing that he came out with that was always in a fairy tale realm. And as a reader, it wasn't a romance per se, but they were always romances, and I didn't even realize that until it's just as I kept reading, the books got a little more adult as I grew up. But they always ended with a happy ever after between the characters, and then those characters would be in the next book as adults, sometimes with children, or just sometimes you knew that they got married and they lived into a castle, so you always had that continuity. And I loved that magical world. There's always something. There were always magical creatures in it. There was unicorns, dragons, but then just funny creatures. One of my favorites that he had was a copycat. And you would sit the cat on something and say, copy that, copycat. And a sheet of paper would come out of its mouth, and you could rip it off, and it would be a copy of whatever he was sitting on. So it was very punny. Everything was a pun, but they were just such fun worlds to live in.
Oh, that's so fun. And so then when you started writing, did you immediately know you wanted to write romance?
No. No, that first one I wrote was more fantasy, but they did have that romantic element in it because the two characters were boy and girl, young adult, working from different sides of the tracks kind of deal. But yeah, and then everything after that just became a romance. So
nice.
Sorry, and I have a cat trying to jump up onto my.
Hey, Kitty, we love guest stars on the show.
Yes.
Okay.
Of the
Just
variety.
Animal.
Okay.
Yes, I was gonna say especially animal special guests. We've had a few.
Yes.
So
okay. I'm just afraid she's gonna knock something.
Yeah, we had one of our guests had a cat that was very insistent, and then we had two others that had dogs, I think, and like they're like paranoid, like, oh no, they're gonna bark. We're like, let them bark, let them come in. So
Yeah.
all
Okay,
animals
well, here
welcome
she
here.
comes.
Okay, perfect. Make an appearance.
She'll come down. She'll take over the whole
Oh,
screen.
there we
There
go.
we go.
Maybe
Get a
she'd like
cat
to
butt.
answer the next question. Hi, kitty kitty.
Oh, what
Oh
a
my gosh, you
cutie.
guys, head to YouTube. Adorable cat alert.
Yeah.
Can you look
Yeah,
at the camera?
another one of those alerts that if you're just listening, run over to YouTube and watch
Yes.
instead, because it really is. There's really,
So
I mean,
cool.
Fiction Fairies really is a visual experience.
It is. It is. I mean, you want to be able to see our wings too. That's kind of important.
Yeah,
That's
well,
true.
of course.
Okay, so we talked about the magical elements, and then so let's see, what
Hmm.
appealed to you about writing a series where classic fairy tales get thrown into disorder?
Could there be anything funner to write?
I don't know.
It just revisiting our childhood
Mm.
tales, but totally revamping them, bringing them up to the modern age. So many of them were just violent as our children, our childhood stories.
Mhm.
The original Frog Prince tale, I mentioned it in the story because I don't think a lot of people knew, but the original Frog Prince is, oops, sorry, cat. The original Frog Prince, she was just a little child and he wanted to spend all his time with her. And she got so frustrated because she didn't like all these conditions that he was putting on her. Like he wanted to eat off her plate, he wanted to sleep on her pillow, and she's a little kid, and she
Mm.
gets angry and she throws him at the wall to kill him. I'm like, these were our childhood fairy tales. So, and that's what broke the curse.
Mhm.
But that's not actually the kind of way you want to teach people how to treat little frogs.
Yeah,
No,
but then I'm
no.
torn because I'm like, oh, but was he grooming her? Did he deserve to be smashing him?
There is that episode, that angle too. It's like, why was a prince preying on a child who was so concerned that she lost her ball in the pond?
Oh gosh.
Like that she was crying. Like
Mhm.
how young was this girl?
Yeah. So I think
Was
our
she
half-human
4?
child who shakes up the fairy tales was onto something, like there will be
Yeah,
none
I
of
think
that
she
in these
was
fumbled
too.
fairy tales.
Yeah.
Happily ever afters, appropriate, consensual. Happily ever afters.
Yes. Age appropriate.
Yes, for sure.
Right.
And so we talked a little bit about like kind of where you drew inspiration for this series, but is there, like when you were thinking about creating this dynamic between Bella and the Frog Prince, like where, how'd you come up with that? Like,
At first I was trying to really stick to the fairy tales, but it just got to a point I'm like, you know what? I need to see them as
yeah.
humans because he's a prince. He's been cursed, but he's still at his core, he's still human.
Mhm.
Obviously she's human, so I needed them to interact as humans. And once I got past the whole thing of like, oh, I have to stick to the frog curse,
Mm.
and I'm like, once I got past it, I just kept going with it, and they were just two humans getting to know each other and connecting on a deeper level, and no superficial looks, which was
Mhm.
Bella's whole thing, that she's tired of being judged by her face.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. Mhm.
and he was tired of being judged as being a prince.
Yeah.
So
And they threw him out of that station. Nice. And then how do you incorporate whimsy or playfulness into your romances?
Um, I mean, when people meet the person that they're attracted to, they do tend to laugh more, they tend to be more expansive,
Mm.
and I just really tried to lean into that.
Mhm.
Um, she's here she is talking to a frog, but he's funny and he's educated, so she starts teasing him.
Mm.
And he's like, "Nobody teases me. I'm a prince." But then he's like, "Oh, well, I can tease back." So that
Nice.
definitely helps. Sorry, had
Yeah.
to set the cat down.
That's okay.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. I'm in the midst of reading Bella and the Bullfrog right now, and definitely their exchanges by what they say, their dialogue is definitely got a very playful
Mhm.
tone about it, which is I'm very much enjoying. So
Mhm.
Thank you.
So fun. Very whimsical.
so yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna grill you next,
Mhm.
Dorothy.
Okay.
So, and we're going to get into a little bit more like of your like writing process. So
Okay.
because we are the Fiction Fairies and we highlight joy and creativity, what is something that you find the most joyful about writing? Like, is there a step in the writing process or something that brings you the most joy?
Um, Dialogue is always fun for me.
Mm.
I usually get a big kick out of that. Um, and honestly, writing myself into a corner.
You
I have
like that?
so much fun. I
Ah,
do, because I really have to sit there and go, how are they going to get out of this? And it just really gets the creative juices going. And when I get it, I'm like, yes, there it is. And it's such a rush.
Okay,
So
Dorothy, I
I
think you're
swear
the
I'll never get
first
to
writer I've
mention.
ever heard say that they like that. I think I'm a little
yes.
I could
stunned.
just
Like,
I could just backspace. I mean, it'd be
Mm.
certainly easy enough to be like, nope, they're stuck. Just delete, 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 delete.
No,
Just
but
make it all go away. And I'm like, nope, nope,
you're
because
invested.
for whatever reason, yep, my muse wanted me to be in this corner. So how are they going to get out? And I'm like,
Nice.
okay, okay, I'll
Uh,
figure this out.
Well, it's so true. And
nice,
don't
nice.
you feel a little like a genius when you do figure it out, though? You're like, oh, there's the
Yes.
answer.
Yes, yes. I like Dorothy, it's almost like a bit of a like a very like deep kind of thing here. Like you've written yourself into a corner and instead of being like, "Oh no," you're like, "What can I learn from this?"
Yes.
You know? And like that's very like that's
Yeah.
existential, I think, a little bit. I like
That has
that.
to,
But
there
I
has to be
am
like,
going to I
well, sorry, no, I was gonna say that has to be like the literary equivalent to like emotional intelligence, but like some kind of bookish
yeah,
term.
right.
Like,
I
Right.
just figure if my muse put me into that corner, then there has to be a reason,
Sure.
and it's got to be something good. Now, I will add a
Mm.
caveat to that because in my young adult book, it was kind of an age gap teacher student thing, but it was also troll shapeshifter, so the rules are a little different. In the story, they have arranged marriages, so it's like, okay, rules are a
Mm.
little different,
mm,
but Varian, the hero, was really intelligent. And, I wrote him to be the one who always knew how to get all the answers and everything. And I wrote myself into a corner. I'm like, oh, Varian will solve it.
oh
And then I
yeah,
went, I'm
I'm
Varian
very.
to figure this out.
Yes.
Wait a second!
True
I
Don't
love
tell us
it.
story.
that. Don't tell us that the characters aren't doing their own thinking. That means we have to.
Yeah. Oh,
Totally
I love
true
it.
story. I'm like,
That's
oh my
Yeah.
amazing.
gosh, what have I done?
Love it.
Yep. Yep.
Fully
Oh
on
man.
board.
I've done the thing where I've typed a line where like I'm in first person and the character is like what I had planned next for her is amazing. And then I sit back and the same thing. I'm like, now I need an amazing plan. It's like, why did I do that?
Aw.
Right?
And you
But
could just hit backspace.
It
Yeah,
is
yes,
the
yes.
but
challenge.
no.
Yeah, no, I know what I'm gonna do now. Now I'm going to go look at my notes and I'm gonna be like, call Dorothy.
Yes,
She'll
she
get
loves
me
getting
out
out
of
of a
this
corner.
corner. That's what I'm going to do now. You are the
Yep.
getting out of the corner, fix it
Yep.
the
Yeah, I'm
person.
just
Hang
going to
your
bring my
That's it.
shingle.
paint and I'm going to paint you right into that corner and say, okay, you'll figure it
Yes.
out.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
it. This could be a
Oh
side gig
boy,
for you.
I like it. Yeah, I like,
Authors
Amanda,
Anonymous.
we really should be collecting a
I
database of what
know.
people find the most
So
joyful, and then we'll just
true.
have them like ready to go,
All right, I'm going back to our old
So,
episodes.
yeah,
Take some
yeah.
notes.
All right. Dorothy, can you tell us about your writing space or spaces where you write?
Um, Somewhere between chaos and possible break-in.
Ooh,
Huh? Okay,
speaking to
okay,
me
right.
right
So it
here.
could look like a crime scene, maybe? Yeah.
Petty larceny, maybe?
Someone's looking for something. It's those characters. They're like, hey, what tools do we have to get out of these corners?
They're making a mess
Crowbar.
trying to. I like
Um,
it. I like that description.
Do you mostly write
Oh
at
boy.
home? Do you write outside of the home?
no, I do have a desk. It's got a big hutch on the back of it, which you can't see. But this way I'm not looking out the window, and I deliberately
Uh,
set it. It's a very weird setting in the room, but most people would put the hutch of the desk against the wall, but I didn't want that because I don't want to be looking out the window. So
Mm.
I have it set where it's kind of like a little nook where you have to kind of slide into it. I have all my research books behind me, so if I have any, if I'm looking, I have a dictionary, I have a thesaurus, I have, writing books behind me. And then just staring at my computer screen. So that way I'm not distracted looking out the window and daydreaming and, hey, who's that walking down the street? I've never seen that dog before.
What fairy is at my window today?
Yeah.
I cannot come out to play. I have work to do.
All right, next question is, do you have any rituals or routines that you do to get yourself focused on writing? We already know like you want a distraction-free zone, but anything else?
Nothing to really start, but like sometimes at night if I'm kind of stuck on a scene, I'll just lay in bed and I'll think of like, okay, this is where I'm at, and let my subconscious kind of work on it overnight. And that's usually a good way. In the morning I'll have a clear approach.
Right.
So I'll do that. Or I live on the Erie Canal, so I'll take a nice walk on the Erie Canal, and I'll start like quietly talking to myself because there's a lot of foot traffic and I don't want to be the crazy person talking to herself. But sometimes I'll interrogate the characters. I'm like, okay, so, she just said this to you. So how are you going to respond? It's like, how are you feeling? And just try to work it out while I'm walking.
Nice.
So those help with clarity.
Good. I actually employ both of those as well. I recently went to this class about dreaming, and the presenter was saying how, if you go to bed with something in mind that you want to solve, that you can do that in your dreams. And I had never really thought to do that for myself, but I have for decades now been doing it for characters. Like I will literally, just like you said, Dorothy, I'll go to bed and I'll be like, okay, I have this problem. This needs to be solved. Or sometimes too, when I've written myself into a corner, I'm like, okay, what was that amazing plan going to be? And then I'll wake up and I'll be like, oh, that's it. And then to have her say like, well, you can do that with your own problems in your dreams. And I was like, wait, I can? Okay.
Wait, we solve our own problems too?
Yeah, I was like, in our dreams? Yeah. Fantastic. Okay.
We've got a lot on our plates. All these characters, because we've all written a bazillion books, and our own too we're supposed to solve.
Ourselves. Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyhow.
How about that?
So, all right. If, Dorothy, if you could deviate from what you normally write, what would your dream writing project be?
Every day is a deviation from what I normally write. It's a beauty of being an ADHD writer. I seriously have hopped into so many genres. I've done romance, I've done contemporary romance, paranormal romance, young adult shapeshifter, I've done nonfiction, I've done romance with paranormal elements. I did a time travel. Every day is a fun experiment. And now we're doing fumbled fairy tales.
Yes. Well, and this does explain why we've gelled so well here. Is like all of us are like avoiding that stay in your lane advice, and we're just like, whatever the muse suggests, we're gonna ride that train. We're cool with
Our
it.
lanes are on very windy roads, and you never know where we're gonna hop into.
A lot of detours. Right. If you wanted to work in the creative field and not be a writer, what's something you could imagine yourself being?
I actually am a credited editor, so I have done editing on the side. I just don't I haven't been advertising it, but I really enjoy editing. So usually I'll take on romance writers or genre. I've done dystopic as well, and some nonfiction, but I really enjoy editing genre writing.
Okay, good. And then just more generally, what would your dream job be?
My dream job would be kitten romper room supervisor.
Oh.
What? Wait a minute.
I don't remember I don't remember seeing that on any of those high school like aptitude tests that was a choice.
The things that they keep you talk about staying in your lane. They don't give you these options.
I'm mad. I'm going back to school and be like, excuse me, I want my choices back. Kitten romper room.
When we adopted these kittens, it was from this little tiny shelter, probably an hour and change from home, because I had my heart set on 2 calico kittens and I couldn't find them anywhere in Rochester. So we drove all the way out, teeny town, like dirt driveways, like it was a small place. and everybody would foster their kittens, and they would bring them over to this one house, and they would drop off their kittens during the day, and then they'd come home from work and they would pick up their litter of kittens. There were literally 30 kittens in this living room the day we were picking up our kittens. I'm like, I could stay here forever.
I'm
But we
quitting
had to
all
get
my
home. It
jobs
was like
right
another
this minute. I have a new career path.
I came back from that, and I went to my current job, and I'm like, I have my dream job. And she's, what? And I'm like, kitten romper room supervisor. There were 30 kittens. They were everywhere. It was chaos. They were having so much fun. I was mesmerized. Yep.
That's
Wow.
unbelievable.
I just need to make that
that.
monetary.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, even at least you need to write a character that does
Oh,
this for a
yeah,
living.
for sure.
Okay,
Please
we'll
do.
get on that.
Fun. Yeah, I mean, I would read that book in a heartbeat.
Yes, over and over
for
and over
sure.
again.
Like,
Yes,
yes, definitely,
I love
definitely.
that.
Woo! And then when it inevitably became like a service, a series on like a streaming service, I would definitely watch that as well. Like,
Absolutely.
have to see it.
And
So
I just
yeah.
like I
and on
okay.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I just went to visit my son and his partner in Pittsburgh, and we went to this little. It's like a place where they have cats up for adoption, but you can pay for 15 minutes or 30 minutes to go into the room with the cats, and like they have all their toys around, and like you're not allowed to pick them up. But I sat on the floor, and one of them crawled into my lap, and I'm like, You claimed me. Of course, this one was already had a home that they were going to be going to in a couple days, but I was like, and my dog would eat a cat, but.
It's never about need.
That.
You got chosen.
I did. I need to go back.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry. More detours.
No. On the idea of pets, your bio mentioned that you have pets and animals. Often are in your books. What do you think pets and animals bring to a story? Like, why include them?
It's a sense of humanity, I think. I mean, as writers, we're always taught to, show the softer side of the character to make them likable, have them save the cat kind of deal. But I've never not had animals in my entire life. Like, my earliest memory is my brother walking out the door with the cat. When we were children, we had indoor outdoor cats, and it's like that was my earliest memory is my brother with the cat following him outside. So I've never, unless I'm on vacation, I've never not had an animal. And even then, some of the B&Bs have cats. So I'm like,
I was going to say, I have traveled with Dorothy, and Dorothy finds animals no matter where she is. And they find her.
Even the 90-pound puppy that came barreling into me. Remember that?
Yes.
They're like, what kind of dog is this? I'm like, it's a Rottie. He's fine.
Like, I love you.
Love it.
I know, he was so funny.
So cute. So
Nice.
Cute. Okay, well, now that we have the serious questions, it's time for the more serious, more important, vital questions. Are you ready?
Vital.
Do you need to drink some fairy dew from the flowers in the meadow?
My
waterfall of joy. Okay. Serious questions.
Okay.
If you could live in a mythological setting, which would you choose?
There would have to be dragons and unicorns.
Yes. We'll be neighbors. And fairies.
Not
this is your setting.
As much as I love the series and I will read it till the very last page, not the Fourth Wing series. That's way too brutal for me.
Yeah.
No, I want the pet dragon that sits on my shoulder that just, I can, feed him little worms or something.
Oh.
And ride a unicorn or something. That'd be fun.
I'm with you. I need like the whimsical stuff. Give me the cozy ones.
And in fact, today I wore, and I don't know if Joy Links and everyone can see it. I have a necklace, and it is a dragon around an amethyst crystal.
That is gorgeous.
So I wore it special because we're fairy tales and such.
I love it. It's beautiful. All right. Well, if you had a mythological spirit creature, what would that be?
I have two.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I have a very scary black dragon.
Ooh.
That if you go into like the woo-woo section of like how to communicate with your spirit guides, he is fearsome. I'm terrified of him.
Oh.
Oh, he's huge. Yeah. He puts Taryn to like, he and Taryn would go head to head.
Oh, goodness.
but if you guys have ever done tribal drumming when you're trying to get your beta and theta waves
I did with
in,
you. You
yeah.
introduced me. You introduced me
So
to that. It was amazing.
yes, yes. I had a pinto pony, and in that tribal drumming, when I was, just tooling around, he sprouted wings and we flew. So that was
Oh,
really cool. I
so
didn't know
cool.
he did that. So
So you
Nice.
don't even have
yeah,
to
so
make
that was fun.
up a mythological spirit creature. They already came to you.
I,
So.
he
Nice.
found me. He's a
Nice.
good boy. He's my
Aw.
pony.
Nice.
Aw, love it.
Love it.
Well, if you could live in a fairy tale, which would you choose?
Um, Gee, I don't know, but there'd probably be a flying horse in it.
Is there a fairy tale? Now I'm like, what fairy tale would this be?
I
I
don't
guess you
know.
could always make up your own.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have to write
I
one
guess
though.
so. All right, so let's see. If you had a magic wand, which of your
Ooh.
heroes or heroines would you make real for a day? And what would you do together? PG.
PG. No, I would actually bring from my Trollmageddon series. Ozell, she is a troll shapeshifter, and she was so much fun to write. She's 17. She shapeshifts into what she considers like a raggedy dog, but she's actually a troll. But she is so anti-bully. She is just so in touch with like her moral core. I think she would be fun to just follow around and maybe watch her trounce a few baddies.
Nice. I love it. That sounds awesome. All right. Well, do you have any quirky writing habits? Like, for example, talking to yourself, which you do, because we talked about that when you're walking.
Absolutely.
Doing a little dance in your seat when you get a scene just right, yelling at your characters, anything like that.
I definitely bounce in my seat when I finally get something right. I'm like, yes. So, but sometimes if I'm trying to act something out, I have to grab my husband and I'll be like, okay, now put your hand
Oh,
here
yeah.
and do this and hang on. And like, now, so especially like fight scenes, I'll have to like, have him like kind of be my counterpoint so I can figure out how the
I
moves
love
are.
that. He's a good sport.
Nice.
He is. He's wonderful.
Speaking of Dorothy's husband and speaking of like this collaboration, it was really funny because we were traveling together, me and Dorothy and her husband, and we were like driving a long way back to where we were staying. And he's like, I know you guys want to have your girl talk, so I'm going to put my earbuds in, just pretend I'm not even here, so he did. And that's how we like dreamed up the series. We're like, all right, yeah, let's collaborate on something. What should it do? And we just like, kind of spitballed ideas back and forth until we came to what we wanted. And it was just so sweet of him, because he's just like, all right, you guys have your time. And, it was really nice. So he's
He'd been monopolizing her for an hour.
He sits in the front and I'm driving and, so we get all the politics and like, stuff. So it's always a fun conversation. Okay. So what would your dream writing day be? I know you work a full-time job, so you probably have to cram writing in a lot of times, but if you just had like a full day and it could be anything you wanted, what would that look like?
I have had days where I've gotten so much written, and those are so fantastic. And they're always few and far between, but man, when you hit like a 5,000 or 10,000 word day, it's like, holy cow, it's like, I could write a book in 4 days at this pace. That happens like once in a blue moon.
And then you have to recover for 4 days.
Yeah, I know. But it'd be nice. It's like a lot of times when I'm writing, it's kind of like I can see how the movie's playing out. There's a writer in one of my groups where she sees the whole movie. She said that's how she can write so fast.
Wow.
Like she sees everything as one continuation and then just kind of documents the incident report kind of deal.
Neat.
But I can kind of see it play out as I'm writing it, but I can't just sit down like a movie and watch the whole story play out. So
yeah, it's fascinating how our brains all work so differently, isn't it? Like I love hearing people's creative process because I'm just like, wow, that's different than mine, or that's similar to mine, or that's the same. Like it's wild. All right, so tell us, now you're in the hot seat. You ready for this one? What is your next creative project? What can we expect from the Dorothy Callahan universe coming up?
I think I would like to write another story in this fumbled fairy tale universe because it has been so much fun. I really, really enjoyed writing this story.
Glad to hear it.
Nice.
Love that.
Nice.
Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that perfectly leads into our little spirit of joy topic
Mm-hmm.
here, which is finding joy in creative collaborations.
Yes.
We thought this would be a good topic for us just to discuss a little bit here since we've been collaborating on the Fumbled Fairy
Mm-hmm.
Tale series, and we did all find it to be so fun and have so much joy in
Oh,
it.
so
So,
much. And there are just so many benefits to working together. Like we're so used to working on our own and being just independent in the whole process. But this was such a collaboration. So we mentioned that Dorothy and I kind of came up with the idea, but then we're like, we want someone else in it. And we're like, Christine, because of course, like I've also been friends with Christine for a long time. And, like I know that she writes so beautifully and, she's so creative. And Dorothy and I chatted about it. We're like, yeah, let's like see if she'll do this with us. And what was Christine's response? He's like, sign me up.
I'm in. I'm
Sign.
in.
Like we
Sign
didn't
me
even
up.
really have to talk. We didn't even have
Exactly.
to like bribe her or
No.
anything. She's like, I'm in it. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
it was just like being able to work together was just so joyful because from the
Mhm.
very first part of like taking nothing, we had nothing to work with. We're just like, we want to do a series to fleshing it out, coming up with like the setting of like why are these fairy tales fumbled, and then Dorothy wrote the beautiful intro to the series.
Mm.
And so that's kind of like the premise of this whole thing. So then we get to all take that and take these like guidelines that we've sort of established and create a world within it. And sometimes our characters, like in my case, like I'm writing Rapunzel and the Beast. So Dorothy had written Beauty and the Beast was the beginning of it. So she had already introduced the Beast. So then I'm taking what she's written and making sure I, stay true to what she created and then create it in my own way too. So like that's just the whole process is just fun. And then, Christine coming in and making like hers and like, just there's just so many things, so like just have so much more creativity to kind of bounce off of each other, you amplify each other's ideas and creativity. I feel like it just everything blossoms and the energy is just so high.
Mm. I think too we spent some time like highlighting each other's strengths in the collaboration
Yes.
too. So like, we each have our own things that we bring to it, and then when we come together, if one person's stronger in this than something else, but then
Mhm.
another person has that strength, then we've kind of got all of our bases covered between the
Yeah.
collaboration, which is really handy.
It is
So,
because everybody has their unique thing, that we like that something that we're really
mm,
good at and something we're maybe not as great at, but then the other person is really good at. So like that kind of thing is so
yeah.
joyful.
Yeah, I do have Dorothy, have you ever done collaborations with other authors before?
Not to this extent. I have
Okay.
been in a box set. It was Shades of Desire, and then we came back with Shades of Desire 2 with two extra people. I have another cat. And here, show your face.
Oh, thank you,
Um,
fluffy ball.
Oh,
but that
sweetie.
was
Oh.
not so much of a collaboration as it was just a box set. So
Okay.
everybody was just writing a story, and we just put everything together. 10 books for a
Mm,
buck or something like
mm,
that.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
but not like we didn't know each other. We weren't really chatting like this.
mhm.
So to have this is a completely
Mm,
unique experience. And
mm,
to have just this, the brainstorming and
Mhm.
just the ideas, it's wonderful because writing is such a solitary endeavor.
Yes.
And unless you have other people who are writers, it's hard for people to understand how solitary it really is.
Yeah. Yeah, this very much feels like a sisterhood, like it's like we're
It
we're
does.
professionals, but we
Yeah.
also have so
mm,
much fun together, even just in all the
mm.
planning, and when we're doing things
Yes.
like sharing knowledge about different aspects of the project, like when we're trying to design, like in our heads, what we want our covers to look like as a unified series before we send them to the designer, like that, just back and forth. I mean, if you could see our chats, they're just like, I mean, it's a novel in itself.
Yes.
It's like, well, I like this, but
Mhm.
maybe we could tweak this, or maybe something like this, or maybe we should add something like this, and then having to kind of gather it all together and ask the designer to then interpret our
Yes,
she did
yeah.
amazing.
She definitely did.
uh,
Yeah, yeah.
That'll be
And
the
just
last book in the series. We'll just take all of our
I
notes.
know,
yes,
seriously.
behind the
Yeah. Ooh,
scenes.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I like
definitely.
it.
Yeah. I think too, like in the collaborations, just the opportunity to be meeting other
Mm,
authors. Like,
Hmm.
Amanda and I knew each other, and then Dorothy and Amanda knew each other.
mhm.
But in bringing me in, now Dorothy and I get to know
Yes,
each other.
yes.
And I mean, it was an easy thing for me to say yes to as well, because Amanda and I have
Mm,
collaborated on a
mm.
shared series before, and like everything
Mhm.
about that was
So fun.
fantastic. So, like, when she came to me and she's like, I'm doing
Mm.
this other thing, I was like, yes, I don't even care what it is. Like, yes.
Yes, yeah.
I'm in. I don't even care what you're writing.
Yes,
Like, I'll
yes.
do it. So,
Give me an
yeah.
assignment.
So like widening that, yeah,
Mhm.
widening that circle of other authors that
Yes.
I now know and other friends that I've made now.
Yes, and
So,
it's so fun
yeah.
for me too, being the one in the middle because I'm like, "Oh, these are like my author besties, like, I love them so much, and now they
Yeah.
get to know each other too," and, like, you
Yeah.
know
It's like you were
I
matchmaking for
know,
author friends,
yes, yes.
So,
The
yeah.
power of 3.
Yes. Yes. That's important.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, and, like, also, like, did Christine freeze? Oh, no, okay, I thought you were
No,
frozen.
I'm here. No,
Sorry.
that was
I was
just
like,
me being really
am I
still.
freezing?
Yeah.
She's
Boy,
in predator mode.
gonna
Yes.
pounce. I was just, like, gonna say that, like, one of the advantages of working together is that we get to be cheerleaders for each other's work too, like,
Mm.
being able to support each other and being able to tell everybody about the project. And it's so much easier to talk about your friend's work than it is to talk about your own.
Yes.
And so that is something I
Yes.
really, really love about sharing this, because like when, Dorothy's is out there and I'm just telling everybody I know and like I want everybody to read it
Yes.
because it's so good, and I believe in
Thank you.
the works of these women, and like I just know this series is
Mm.
so wonderful. And being able to cheerlead for each other. And I know that like they'll have my back, and like when we're putting it out there, you're not just sort of on your own on an island saying, read me, like you have each other to sort of help and to expand that. And that is really very joyful for me to be able to
Yeah.
participate
Yeah.
in that, and just trying to like uplift each other is just
Yeah.
joyful.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it increases motivation
Yeah.
to get the piece
So
done too, because
much.
you know that there are, that like you want to have it ready for your partners to take a look at
Mm,
and to enjoy, and you want to be an active part
yeah,
of the collaboration. So like that just motivates you to sit down and get
for
writing, which is
sure.
cool.
And on that same
Mm.
note, like it keeps you on track because I have been
Mm-hmm.
known to be like squirrel, and not finish things that
Yeah.
I'm
Squirrel.
supposed to. And when other people are waiting for you, or other people are going to gently be like, Amanda, remember, where's that thing you were supposed
Let's
to
go.
do? Like it really does keep you sort of on track, and it keeps you. It's a discipline thing too, because like that this person is counting on you to uphold your part of the project, and you
Right.
don't want to be the
Right.
poopy head that lets them down. So, yes.
Sits them down. Yeah. Yeah. And Dorothy, I wonder if you have this similar feeling as well. I think you might, because you enjoy being written into a corner and having to
Mm,
try to figure out. I love projects that are like a writing assignment.
mm,
Like projects that have
mm,
parameters where like some decisions have already been made, and then I have to try to work within that to like
mm.
figure out what's going on. How do you feel about that, Dorothy?
I think I have been through that. And my husband is amazing at story structure
Mm.
Oh,
because one that's coming to mind is my Trollmageddon series, where I told my husband, I'm like, there's this one scene that has to be in the book. It has to be. It's crucial to the plot and everything. And we were back and forth, like bouncing it around, but I'm like, but I said it absolutely has to be in
Mm.
there. And he's like, are we doing the entire scene there? And I'm like, no, but it's pivotal. Like it's got to be in there. And we just kind of bounced that back and
Mm.
forth to death.
Mm.
But it was also the epitome. It was the final like battle, and
Mm.
um it had to be in there in my head. Like the story will not be the same if it is not in this particular setting.
Right.
So yeah, and it was just a matter of trying to funnel all
Yeah.
of the story elements into that one scene.
Mm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
it took a bit of
it just
hashing.
It's yeah.
yeah, and it's like it is a challenge too,
Mhm.
but there is something again like
Mm.
gratifying about
Mhm.
it when you feel like you've done the
Yeah.
assignment, like
Yeah.
Mhm.
you've
Yeah.
carried it through, you hit it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's also because like I feel like when I'm creating a story by myself, there are so many options. Like I could go down so many different trails. But this, because we established parameters and because there were certain things that we had to live within this world that we created, it was already predestined in some ways. It's like limiting, but in a good way. Like it felt like a good structural way. And I'm not usually a person who really particularly likes structure in my life, but it was really very joyful. And like, I didn't have to get derailed and overwhelmed or paralyzed by these decisions. Like, oh, what if I did it one of these 800 ways that I can think of that it could happen? It's like, oh, well, this is a little more organic to the project we're creating, and it was really, really fun to do that.
And they're
Perfect.
fairy tales
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
So,
You have that
it's like you can have, yeah, a little bit of magic,
mm-hmm,
a little bit of je ne sais quoi, because
mm-hmm,
you're dealing with a mythical
mm,
setting.
yeah,
I
yeah.
have an enchantress in mind because somebody turned the prince into a
Right.
frog. So
Yeah.
it's like you already know that there's, an enchantress.
Yeah.
Same with Beauty and the
Yeah.
Beast, as we've all seen the Disney movie a
Mm.
thousand times,
Yeah.
a beautiful enchantress
Mm-hmm,
showed up as a crone and she punished the
mm-hmm,
prince into the unnamed
mm-hmm.
prince
Yeah.
because princes didn't have names,
Mm-hmm.
but she punished him to become the beast.
Yeah.
So it's like you have this little bit of magic, and
Yeah.
once you do that, it's freeing in such a fun way
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't have to adhere to the realities, the structure of reality.
And
So
that's the thing
Right.
because you're going into it like you have these expectations of what a fairy tale is like, but then you also get to put your spin on it in a world like this where you're like, oh, but in this world, sure, on the surface it looked like this, but here's what was really happening. And there was something
yep.
just really amazing about it, because like we're talking about like assignments, but like, you know, unlike a school project, it's something we all
Yeah.
chose and like decided to work on. And I don't know about you guys, but like writing this like literally felt like candy, you know?
Mm.
It really did. It was so
Yeah.
much fun. It really was.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like,
Agreed.
when we talked
Agreed.
about it, like I think Christine was, saying that, it was like something that we get to work on and not like something you have to work on. It really was like
Right.
this like,
Right.
oh, I get to sit down because I'm working on it while working on other things. And I love everything that I'm writing. I'm really enjoying all of it. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, but this is literally like sneaking away and having this indulgent little piece of candy that is making me so happy. I never had a struggle with this book. Like I was just joyful the whole time. And I don't know that that's ever happened.
Yes.
I love all my books and I love the process and most of the process of them. But something about this one just really was fun. And maybe it's just because we were writing it together, but maybe it was because of this world, or maybe it was all of it. But it's very joyful. Thank you for doing
It
that.
just it had all the right magical elements for us,
Yes,
I guess.
yes. It's been
Yeah.
the time of my
So,
life.
yeah. So, if you're a reader, that's a little bit about the benefits of collaboration
Mm,
on a project. And if you're a writer or any other kind of creative person and have been thinking about collaborating with others, like this is your sign from the universe to totally
do
go
it.
for it. Like the Fiction Fairies
We
fully
do. Yes.
endorse creative collaborations of
I'll
any
even
kind. So, like,
wave my
jump
wand to
in
that.
and go for it. Yes, yes, definitely.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And that kind of leads us into our sprite spell for today. So,
mhm,
um, last time our sprite spell was to genuinely praise something about something specific, which that I think was pretty easy to do. I feel like I did that quite a lot. I would like to praise both of you right now and say that like collaborating with you is just such an honor and has been pure joy. So thank you guys for everything you bring to like this fairy tale world and to my world and to soon to the world of all the readers who are going to get to enjoy it. So thank you for that. And
Likewise.
and
Definitely.
Christine, how did you find this week's Sprite Spell? How'd it go for you?
Well, I did have opportunities to give out some praise to other writers. I went to a poetry reading in a neighboring town. They do this thing called Poem Town, and anybody in that town or neighboring towns can write a poem, and then they display all the poems on the shops on the main street. And so you kind of can
cool.
walk through like a gallery of poems. So I've done it a couple times, and they usually have a theme. This theme was voices. And so I've done it a couple of years, but I've never gone to when they had an opportunity for the poets to read their poems aloud. So I did go to that, and it was just a nice chance to hear other people's work. And then afterwards, we kind of were mixing and mingling, and it was nice just to kind of go up to people and be like, "Hey, I really like how you did this in that poem," and "Hey, I just felt like everybody was kind of beaming because everybody was doing that to each other,
So much good
And
feedback.
I met some really cool people. And it just kind of, again, like with that Sprite Spell and what we were saying in that other episode, is that when you praise like this, and even strangers, because a lot of those people I didn't know at first, you start praising genuinely about their work, and suddenly everybody's like best friends.
I love that,
So
'cause it feels so good to be on
that kind of
both
thing.
ends of praise.
Yeah. So, Dorothy, have you had any opportunities to give praise or even be on the receiving end? You can tell us like either one.
Um, Probably, but nothing's coming to mind
Like,
right
the
now.
spotlight.
Yeah.
I mean, when I'm out in public, I do try to, like, if I see somebody whose, hair looks amazing, or they have something, like, in general, I always try to do that, because there's so many people who you never know, what weight of the world they're carrying. So I do try to do that.
Sure.
Nothing's sticking out particularly, but
Mm.
it's
Well, you mentioned about hair. I was in the supermarket, and prior to going into the supermarket, I was in a pretty rancid mood, to be honest. I was not the most joyful fiction fairy, I'll tell you. I'll say that out loud. And I hate grocery shopping on top of that. It's the
Yeah.
worst thing. Like, I would rather scrub toilets than go grocery
I'm with
shopping.
you.
Seriously. I don't know why I hate that so much, but I do. So I'm in there, and I've got my carriage, and I'm looking at the lettuce that looks like, month old lettuce, and I'm getting angry that it looks like that. And all of a sudden, there's a voice behind me, and I hear, "I don't want to be weird." And of course, if you
You're like,
start with
"Oh,
that, I was like,
great,
"No,
what's
be
happening?"
weird.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
be weird. Do it." No. But she's like, "I don't want to be weird, but I just had to come across the produce section to tell you that your hair looks amazing." And
aw.
when I did turn
that.
around, it was an employee of
Oh,
the supermarket. But as soon as she did it, I was like, "Oh, we were so right in that
yeah.
episode that you feel
Yeah.
fantastic when
Oh,
somebody
that's
does that."
amazing.
So, yeah, it was fun. It was
And
fun.
your hair does always look amazing.
Well, not always, and particularly not always in the supermarket, I'll tell you that much. But somehow I must have been having a good day.
Yes. Oh, that's so nice. And it's so nice that she like went out of her way, even though she felt weird. But
Yeah.
that just shows you when you step out of
Yeah.
that comfort
Yep.
zone, the power it can have. Like,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Turned your day
It's
around.
possible that she saw me come in with that, like,
She's like,
kind of
"Oh, I gotta
cranky
turn
look
this
on my
lady
face,
around."
and she's like, I gotta do something to, like, spin her
Yeah.
day in another
We have
direction."
to we have
So,
to
yeah.
preserve this customer. She may never come back. She may
Yes.
just go grow
Right,
all her own
right.
lettuce.
That's true, yes.
Oh, awesome, awesome. So
It's next episode.
yes,
Yeah.
really. So as every episode, we always introduce a sprite spell. This sprite spell
Mhm.
has two tiers because we feel that the joylings are ready for a challenge. So the first tier, we're talking about collaborations here today. So the first tier, we would like you to think, just like take some time, brainstorm a list of possible collaborations you can engage in. Now they could be things like you may not be a writer. That's fine because we are speaking to
Mm.
all creatives here, or just all people who want joy. And our mode of transportation toward the world of joy is creativity. So it could be
Mhm.
like collaborating with some fellow moms in your neighborhood on a really great play date experience in your yard or somewhere else, or um setting up a tea party with your moms or your friends at the senior center, or some colleagues, whatever. Just like set up a little tea party. That's a creative endeavor. Maybe set a fundraiser at a school or for an organization that you appreciate. Setting up a craft night with friends. I've talked about that on the episode, doing that here, even though I'm not a crafty person. And it's a very fun, creative experience. Really fun. That kind of thing. You can maybe like in your neighborhood set up like a door decorating event, go around tell if you live in one of those cool neighborhoods where people do stuff. I don't, but like if you do, maybe you set something up like, hey, everybody's gonna decorate their door for this challenge. Or maybe like setting up a scavenger hunt through the neighborhood, for adults or children. Like all of these things that we say are like for kids, that we believe in childlike wonder and preserving your inner child, and like having all of that joy and fun and play, because we want to play. So this applies across the board. So any of these kinds of things, if you are in a corporate situation, maybe setting up some break room fun activities. Maybe you have a piece of paper on the lunch table where everybody writes a line of a story and it just continues, or something like that, or hiding something around the room for people to find. Whatever, like brainstorm things that you would like to do. If you want help brainstorming, we love brainstorming. So just shout out to your Fiction Fairies and we will help you with that. The second tier is to actually do one of the collaborations you brainstormed. Now, this is tricky and it can take some nerve. Like it's not always easy reaching out to somebody and asking them to do something with you. But just do it, just do it. You're not going to regret it. Nobody's going to be upset with you. Nobody's going to be offended or what, then, it's all good. And if somebody doesn't want to do it with you, that's okay. There are other people that will, like you'll find somebody. So reach out to other people, maybe get a group together and just do the thing. Do the thing. You might not be able to do this before our next episode. And we do acknowledge that, but we would love for you to try.
Yes, and we'll see how we did on this new sprite spell, and Amanda and I will try so that we can report back. But as Amanda said, if you don't get to it within the next episode, that's perfectly okay. But like put it on your short term to-do list. Like don't wait.
We're not doing
long.
someday around here. We're doing now.
No, we don't do that. Yes. And you can tell us about your progress on this sprite spell or any of the sprite spells from other episodes. We always want to hear, and you can comment wherever you listen or watch the podcast, or you can DM us on social media. All of our links are in the show description and on the About tab of our Fiction Fairies Substack.
Yeah. And I think that's it for this episode, you guys. We would like to thank immensely our friend, author Dorothy Callahan, for joining us today. Thank you so much, Dorothy. This has just been a blast.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Oh, thank you for letting us into your writing life and into this beautiful, wild wilderness of your imagination. It has been a joy. You can connect with Dorothy online at the links in the show description. You can also grab her new release, and I'm telling you, go grab her new release. You will not regret this. Bella and the Bullfrog. It's at the link also in the show description. And while you're there, you might as well just pre-order my book, Braids and the Beast. And hey, you know what? Christine's book, Ruby and the Royal. They're also in the show links in the description below. And if you're listening to this episode beyond the times, then they're probably already out for you. If it's past June 2026, all three are out and you can go get them right away. And there may even be more in the series. You never know. So if you enjoyed the Fiction Fairies podcast, please hit the like button, subscribe, find us on social media, do all the things, leave us a review, and of course, tell everyone you know about the podcast. Maybe send it along to them if you want them to have joy and creativity.
And if you're a creative person and want to be a guest on the Fiction Fairies like Dorothy has today, there is a form in the show description and on our Substack to contact us for that.
And that's fantastic. And now we're going to leave you with the Glimmer Challenge. Let me get our wands out. The Glimmer Challenge of asking you to find and spread joy today. Farewell, Joylings. I'm waving my wand.
Farewell, Joylings. We'll see you next time on the Fiction Fairies podcast. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.